Your wife is not welcome at Dad's 70th. She's not blood, my uncle texted. I replied, understood. We went to the Bahamas instead. Didn't tell them I'd updated the $12,000 party venue reservation I'd made in my name. When they showed up to an empty hall with a booking canceled sign, my phone exploded. 94 messages in 8 minutes. My phone buzzed while I was grading quizzes about quadratic functions. It was a Thursday night, 8:17 p.m. The kitchen table was covered in graph paper, red pens, and one half-eaten dinosaur nugget my son refused to admit was abandoned. Hannah was at the sink, sleeves rolled up, humming under her breath. Jonah was at the table with me, legs swinging under his chair, drawing a lopsided cake with way too many candles. Is that Grandpa's? I asked. Yeah, he said. 70 is a lot. I ran out of room. He'd written 70 in the corner and circled it 3 times like a warning label. My phone buzzed again. Then again, family group chat. Uncle Rick. Where are we on the slideshow? Need your photos tonight, champ. Mom. Don't forget to order the gluten-free cake for Aunt Lisa. I ignored it. I already had a Google Drive folder labeled Dad 70, a spreadsheet for the seating chart, and a printed contract for Maple Grove Event Center pinned to the fridge with a magnet that said math is hard. Good thing I'm here. The venue deposit alone was $12,000 on my credit card. Not family's, not Dad's, mine. Jonah poked my arm. Dad, do you think Grandpa likes chocolate cake or red cake? Red velvet, Hannah said over her shoulder. Your grandpa will eat anything with sugar in it. Jonah nodded solemnly like she'd said something profound and went back to his drawing. My phone buzzed with a new text, separate from the group chat, from Uncle Rick. Rick! Need to run something by you before Sunday. I wiped my fingers on a napkin and opened it. Rick! Your wife is not welcome at Dad's 70th. She's not blood. The words didn't make sense at first. I read them twice, 3 times, like a problem with a trick in it. I stared at the screen so long Hannah noticed the way my jaw clenched. You okay? She asked, turning off the faucet. Yeah, I lied automatically. Just Rick being Rick. Another text came in before I could overthink. Rick! Everyone agrees. It'll keep things smooth. You know how Dad is. There it was. The family word, smooth. Translation, keep the old men happy and the women polite. Don't make a scene. Don't make us look bad. My mouth went dry. My hands didn't. They felt weirdly calm. I looked at Hannah. Her hair was pulled up, little wisps falling around her face. There was dish soap on her forearm. She smiled at me, tired but easy. The kind of smile that kept me vertical during parent-teacher conferences and flu season and every late bill when we first got married. She had no idea my family had just voted her off the island. Jonah slid his drawing over to me. This is you, he said, pointing at a stick figure next to the cake. And this is Mommy, and this is me. We're all there. Something in my chest twisted. I typed back. Me? Understood. My hands didn't shake. My brain just counted. Chairs. 75 confirmed guests. 8 tables of 10. 4 extra for the important people. $12,000 deposit. Remaining balance due Friday at 5 p.m. Reservation name, Elijah Carter. Client of record, me. I felt my pulse in my throat. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't call my uncle. I didn't send a paragraph. I opened my laptop, logged into the Maple Grove client portal, and clicked Manage Reservation. When Dad and my family showed up 3 days later to a locked hall and a big white easel that said in block letters, Booking canceled by client, my phone started vibrating nonstop. 94 messages in 8 minutes. I didn't scream. I put my phone face down, took Hannah's hand on the balcony of the hotel in Nassau and said, Want to go find the beach? I'm Eli, 35, high school math teacher in Columbus, Ohio. I make $58,200 a year before taxes and pretend I don't know the exact net because seeing the number too often makes me want to rewind to college and pick software engineer instead of inspiring the youth. Hannah's 33, an ICU nurse. We've been married 7 years. We have a 4-year-old son, Jonah, who can count to 100 sort of, if you let him skip the numbers he describes as weird ones. My dad, Michael Carter, turning 70, retired electrician, hero in his own mythology. My mom, Denise, professional smoother-over. My uncle Rick, Dad's younger brother by 3 years, unofficial family spokesperson for anything cruel. They live 20 minutes from us. They also live in a different universe. Growing up, the rules in our house were simple. Family helps family. Don't embarrass Dad. Don't make things harder than they already are. They said, blood is blood, like it was a magic spell that made everything okay. As long as you were the right blood. I used to swallow it. I thought it was temporary. I thought when I grew up and moved out and got my own life, the rest would evolve. It didn't. The first time they made it clear Hannah wasn't really family was 6 years ago, right after we got engaged. We were at my parents' house, a Sunday grill out in May. I was flipping burgers. Hannah was at the patio table, laughing with my cousin about wedding venues. Mom came out carrying a tray of deviled eggs, like she was auditioning for an ad. "So?" she said too brightly, setting the plate down. "Your uncle and I were talking, and we figured the Carters can handle the guest list. It's a family event." I poked at a burger. "What do you mean? It's our wedding." She waved a hand. "Oh, honey, of course. But we'll manage the invitations so there aren't awkwardnesses." Hannah heard the word. She always hears the precise word. She gave a small smile. "What kind of awkwardnesses?" Mom's eyes flicked to me, then back to Hannah. "You know, your side. We don't want any drama." "Better to keep it Carter only for the reception. My brother is paying for the hall." Translation: your divorced parents and half-siblings and whoever else you came with? They're messy. We're the main characters. I felt my ears go hot. Hannah's smile stayed polite, but I watched something behind her eyes go dim. "Got it," she said softly. "You don't want my family there." Mom blinked like Hannah had said something inappropriate. "Oh, don't make it like that. It's just simpler." We ended up cutting the guest list ourselves. Hannah paid for her side's catering with a credit card at 22% interest, because my family couldn't be expected to feed strangers. I told myself it was a one-off, a wedding thing. People get weird about weddings. Then Jonah was born. We were still in the hospital when my dad came in holding a balloon that said, "It's a boy," like he'd invented gender. He hovered over the bassinet, chest puffed out. There he is. Finally, another Carter man. Hannah was pale, exhausted, stitches and hormones and all of it. She smiled anyway. "He's perfect." Dad nodded, eyes never leaving Jonah. "We'll toughen him up. Don't you worry." My mom laughed. "He'll be raised right." Hannah shifted. "He'll be raised by both of us." Dad finally glanced at her. "Sure, just don't turn him soft." He said it like a joke. They always do. He called Jonah my boy every time, like Hannah was the babysitter. When Jonah was 2, we were at my parents' for Thanksgiving. Jonah toddled into the kitchen with his favorite stuffed dinosaur, dragging it by the tail. Hannah offered to help set the table. Mom said, "Oh no, honey, guests don't work." Hannah froze. "Guests?" Mom flushed. "You know what I mean. You relax. This is family time." Hannah looked right at me. Her voice stayed calm. "Am I a guest or your daughter-in-law?" Mom did that little laugh that meant she was annoyed. "Don't be sensitive." I pulled plates out of the cabinet anyway, put Jonah's on the corner of the table. Later, when I came back from taking him to the bathroom, his plate had been moved 3 seats down to be closer to Grandpa. Dad's chair never moved. Hannah's did. The last straw before the party mess was in February, 4 months before Dad's birthday. We were at my parents' house for Sunday dinner, a thing Hannah had started skipping more and more for extra shifts that I knew were sometimes just drives to Target parking lot to sit in silence. That night, she'd come along. I'd asked. Begged, really. Dad was in a good mood. It would be easy. Dad poured himself another whiskey and thumped his glass on the table. 70, huh? He said to no one in particular. Big one. Gotta do it right. Rick grinned. Told him we'd throw the party of the year. Told him his boy would handle it. Our smart one. He clapped me on the shoulder like he expected change to fall out. Everyone looked at me. Mom, Dad, Rick, my cousins. So I said what I always say. "Sure, I'll organize it." Hannah squeezed my knee under the table. After dinner, while we were loading dishes, Rick cornered me in the hallway. "Look," he said. "Maple Grove is about 12 grand for the room, right?" I nodded. I'd already done the spreadsheet math. 12 for the venue, another 6 for food, 2 for the open bar. Family would help, but I knew what that meant. Good value, Rick said. And you're doing okay, right? Teacher salary, wife's a nurse. No more student loans? He said it like he was asking if I had extra napkins. I still have loans, I said, but we'll be fine. He slapped my back. That's our boy. I knew you'd step up. Real family takes care of their own. Real family. As opposed to what Hannah and Jonah were, apparently. Later in the car, Hannah stared straight ahead. Jonah was asleep in the back, head at that weird angle kids wake up from with a crick. You just volunteered to drop almost 20 grand we don't have, she said quietly. I gripped the steering wheel. Yeah, I'll pick up summer school, maybe tutor more. We'll manage. She turned her head. We could have said no. You heard them. I said. They already decided. I'm the one who handles things. She didn't argue. She just got quieter. That was the worst part. Not the yelling. It was the quiet. The way my wife started shrinking herself to fit into rooms my family never intended to make space for. I booked Maple Grove Event Center on March 2nd at 9:13 p.m. I know the exact time because I printed the confirmation email and stuck it in a blue folder labeled Carter 70th with a date and the amount. $12,000 deposit, non-refundable but transferable to another date within 12 months. Client, Elijah Carter. Card ending, 4,432. Signature, mine. Hannah watched me sign the contract at the kitchen table. You sure? She asked. No, I said honestly. But it's done. She chewed the inside of her cheek. Okay, then if we're doing it, let's do it right. For you, not just for him. We spent nights after Jonah was asleep arguing over napkin colors and whether a mashed potato bar was tacky. We built a slide deck of photos, from Dad's mustache years in the 80s to him holding Jonah in the hospital. In every draft of the seating chart, Hannah sat next to me. The private pressure started small. A week after the booking, Mom called while I was on lunch duty watching freshmen throw baby carrots at each other. Hey, sweetie, she said. Just checking on party planning. Your uncle says you've got it under control? Yeah, I said, eyeing a kid trying to smuggle a whole milk carton into his backpack. Venue's booked. I'll send you the details. She lowered her voice. So, about the guest list. Your father really wants it to be comfortable. For who? I asked. For everyone, she said quickly. We were thinking maybe keep it mostly Carters. You know how your dad gets with outsiders. Hannah's not an outsider. Mom made a little tisk sound. Don't make it like that. Of course she's invited. We're not monsters. I relaxed half an inch. Then she added, maybe she can just come for the cake and photos. The main part is more family stories. We don't want her to feel out of place. I stared at the phone like it had insulted me personally. She's been here 7 years. If she's out of place, that's on you. Mom bristled. Don't start, Elijah. This is hard enough. We're just trying to keep it smooth. There it was again. Smooth. I spent the rest of lunch duty watching carrots bounce off the floor, feeling my teeth grind together. 2 weeks later, the group chat started heating up. Mom, we're adding Pastor Jim and his wife to the list. Rick. And the guys from the old shop, Dad wants his real crew there. Me. Fine. Send me the names for seating. Hannah. Direct, not in the chat. Do I get a seat? I sent her a photo of the seating chart with her name next to mine. Table 3. Right by Dad. She sent back a heart. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. Wave 1 of escalation hit the Wednesday before the party. I was in my classroom after school, erasing the ghost of yesterday's equations. Phone buzzed. Rick, got a minute? Me, in class. What's up? He called anyway. I shut my door and answered. Yeah? Rick didn't bother with hello. We've been talking, kid. About Sunday. My stomach tightened. Okay. You know how Dad gets when there's tension, he said. It's his big day. We don't want him worried. Then maybe don't start fights, I said. He chuckled. You're funny. Look, Hannah's great and all, but some of the older folks still don't really see her as, one of us. She's my wife, I said. That's the only category that matters. Rick sighed like I was being difficult. Nobody's saying she's not. We're just saying maybe, for Dad's sake, she sits this one out. Come solo. We'll take good care of you. I'm not leaving my wife at home while I host a party I'm paying for, I said. I'm not 13. I'm not sneaking out with you to the bar. His voice cooled. You're overreacting. It's one afternoon. Exactly, I said. One afternoon where my family doesn't get to tell me my wife is less than them. Rick tried one more angle. You really want Dad to have a heart episode arguing about this? You know how he is. Your mom is worried. I'm worried. Don't make this bigger than it is. You're the one making it big, I said. My answer is no. He hung up without saying goodbye. That night, I told Hannah what he'd asked. She listened, face blank. So, she said slowly, they want you there. They want your money there. They just don't want me there. Yeah. Okay, she said. I won't go. I stared at her. What? She shrugged like she was talking about takeout. I'm not going where I'm not wanted. I'll hang out with Jonah. You go, do the son thing, come home. Something in her tone, too light, too practiced, made my stomach twist. I don't want to go without you, I said. She smiled. You've been training for this since you were 10. You can handle a Carter circus without me. I didn't argue. I should have. Wave 2 was practical. Friday afternoon, I got an email from Maple Grove. Subject, additional charges request. Hi Elijah, per your request, we've added the extended open bar package and seafood buffet upgrade to your June 2nd event. Please note, this increases your remaining balance by $6,400. Updated invoice attached. Best, Sarah. Events Manager, Maple Grove Event Center. I read it 3 times. I had not requested anything. I called immediately. Maple Grove, this is Sarah. The woman said, Hi, this is Elijah Carter, I said. I have an event booked for Sunday. I just got an email about bar and buffet upgrades that I didn't authorize. She rustled papers. Let me pull it up. Carter, June 2nd, 70th birthday. Yes, we had a call from your uncle earlier today. Rick Carter? He said you discussed it and asked us to add the upgrades. My grip tightened on the phone. I never authorized that. He said he was co-host, she added carefully. I took a breath. Check the contract. Who's listed as client? You are, she said. Only you. Then no one else can add charges. I said, remove the upgrades. Lock the account. If anyone calls about changes, you call me. She hesitated. Just so you're aware, sir, we have a policy. Only the client of record can make substantial changes or cancel. That's you. No one else has that authority. The official sentence. It hummed in my brain like a neon sign. That's all I needed to hear. I said. After I hung up, I opened a new folder on my desktop. Carter Party Receptors. I dragged in the original contract, the deposit confirmation, the upgrade email, screenshots of texts. Rick, your wife is not welcome. Me? Understood. I screenshotted the group chat too. Mom? Everyone's talking about how big this will be. Dad? My boys always come through. I stared at that line for a long time. I went home. Hannah was on the couch with Jonah, watching Paw Patrol. She muted the TV when she saw my face. What happened? They tried to add $6,000 of booze and shrimp to my card, I said, without asking. Her mouth dropped open. Are you serious? I nodded. I fixed it. She waited. I sat down on the coffee table in front of her. I think I'm done. With what? She asked. With playing along, I said. With pretending this is normal. She watched my face like my students do when they're trying to see if I'm kidding. What are you thinking? She asked. I looked at Jonah, happily shoving popcorn into his mouth, oblivious. That's when I stopped arguing, I said, more to myself than her, and started documenting. The breaking point wasn't dramatic on my end. It was 3 calls, 2 emails, and 1 airline confirmation number. Friday night, after Jonah went to bed, Hannah and I sat at the table with my laptop between us. No lesson plans, no seating chart, just the Maple Grove portal and a tab for flights to Nassau. I have the PTO, she said. My manager will hate it, but I have it. I stared at the numbers on the screen. Round trip for 3 from Columbus to Nassau. $1,842. 3 nights at a modest beach hotel. $930. Less than what my uncle had tried to tack onto my card for real drinks. Are you sure? I asked. Hannah's eyes were steady. They already decided I'm not family. You deciding you are done isn't going to make it worse. It just makes it honest. I thought about Jonah's drawing of all of us at the party. I thought about the look on Hannah's face every time my dad called Jonah my boy, like she wasn't in the room. Okay, I said. I booked the flights. I booked the hotel, I printed the confirmations, and slid them into the blue folder with the Maple Grove contract. Then I wrote an email. Sarah, Events Manager, SUB-ject, Carter event, June 2nd. Status update. Hi, Sarah. Per our phone conversation, please cancel the June 2nd booking under my name, Elijah Carter. I understand that the $12,000 deposit is non-refundable but transferable. I'd like to apply that credit to a future private event, date TBD, under my sole authority. Please update the internal notes that no one else is authorized to make inquiries or changes regarding my account. Best, Elijah Carter. She wrote back within an hour. Hi, Elijah. We've processed the cancellation. Your credit is on file for future use. We'll place a sign on the door Sunday indicating the booking was canceled by client to avoid confusion for any early arrivals. Let us know when you're ready to reschedule. Best, Sarah. It was clinical, boring, official. The next morning, I told my parents we couldn't make brunch Saturday because Jonah wasn't feeling well. They fussed, of course. Mom, poor baby. Bring him over. I'll make soup. Me? We're keeping him home. Rick, separate text. Don't ruin this, kid. Dad will never forgive you. I didn't respond. Saturday night at 11:50 p.m., we wheeled our suitcases into the Columbus airport with Jonah half asleep on my shoulder. Hannah had her passport, and Jonah's in a small leather case. Mine was in my pocket. Why are we going to the airport at night? Jonah asked, voice thick. For an adventure, Hannah said, kissing his cheek. Beach adventure. You said we had a party, he mumbled. I crouched down, meeting his eyes. Plans changed, buddy. We're going to do our own party. Will there be cake? I smiled. I promise there will be cake. The flight was at 1:10 a.m. Jonah slept through most of it. Hannah dozed with her head on my shoulder. I stared at the dark window and thought about the blue folder in my backpack. In Nassau, the air smelled like sunscreen and ocean and fried food. Jonah woke up just as we stepped outside. Whoa, he breathed. It's hot. Hannah laughed. That's the sun, kiddo. We checked into the hotel at 9:30 a.m., dropped our bags, and walked to the beach. The sand was already warm under our feet. At 10:58 a.m., my watch buzzed. Party start time back home. 11 a.m., I pictured Maple Grove, the big double doors, the white easel sign with black letters, Carter 70th birthday party. Except this time, there'd be another line, booking canceled by client. Hannah was sitting on a beach towel, legs stretched out, watching Jonah attack the waves with a plastic shovel. You okay? She asked. I checked my phone. No messages yet. Yeah, I said. I'm good. At 11:12 a.m., my phone buzzed once. Mom, where are you? People are arriving. I stared at it, then at the ocean. I didn't answer. At 11:17 a.m., it started. Rick, what did you do? The doors are locked. There's a sign saying you canceled. Are you kidding me right now? Mom, Elijah, answer your phone. They say there is no event in your name. Dad, this a joke? Unknown number. Probably a cousin. 94 messages in 8 minutes. Missed calls stacked like a deck of cards. Jonah, oblivious, shouted, Dad, look, and proudly showed me a lopsided sandcastle. I shoved my phone in the beach bag and knelt in the sand. That's awesome, I said. Needs a flag. We found a straw wrapper and stuck it in the top. My phone buzzed and buzzed and buzzed. I waited until it went quiet. An hour later, after lunch in the hotel cafe, I pulled it out. Dozens of texts. Rick, you ruined everything. Dad is humiliated. People drove hours. You made us look like idiots. Mom, I am shaking right now. The manager said only you could cancel. Why would you do this to your father? Dad, never expected this from my own son. Then the group chat. Mom, everyone go home. There has been a misunderstanding. Rick? No misunderstanding. Your son nuked it. Cousin Mark. Wait, what? Mom tried to move the meltdown into private texts. Rick didn't. I let it sit until the anger shifted to panic. Mom, people think we scammed them. They're asking about the money. Rick, you better fix this right now. I opened my Photos app and found the screenshot of Rick's text. "Your wife is not welcome at Dad's 70th. She's not blood." And my reply. "Understood." I dropped it in the family group chat. No caption. No explanation. 3 dots popped up. Disappeared. Mom finally broke. "Mom, that is not the same thing and you know it. We just wanted to keep things smooth for your father." I typed, erased, typed again. Then I kept it simple. Me. I canceled the event I booked and paid for. I'm using the credit for something that includes my actual family. Cousin Mark reacted to Rick's "she's not blood" with the little shocked face emoji. Another cousin left the chat. My dad wrote once, "Dad, you didn't have to go this far." I stared at that message for a long time. Then I sent the only boundary I was willing to give them. Me, any future contact about this or about my wife goes through email. Do not call my phone again today. Then I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, set it face down on the nightstand, and took Jonah to the pool. The immediate consequence was chaos I couldn't hear. Door pounding back home, according to a later cousin report. Angry calls to Maple Grove. My uncle trying to get the manager to reinstate the party, and being told calmly that without the client's approval, there was no event to reinstate. I didn't go back into the chat. I didn't call to soothe anyone. I didn't apologize. The irreversible step had already happened. I'd cut off the one thing they were used to having unlimited access to. Me saying yes. Life after you stop auditioning for your family is quieter, not silent, just less loud in the wrong places. We spent 3 days in the Bahamas. On Dad's actual birthday, we ate buffet cake. Jonah stuck stirrers in it and said, "This is Grandpa's cake, but we get to eat it." I texted Dad once, "Happy birthday. Hope you have a good day." He never replied. Back home, my cousin Mark called. That text from Rick was messed up. I told him I didn't ruin Dad's party. They did when they decided my wife wasn't family. 2 weeks later, Mom showed up with a gift bag. "You really hurt your father." I know. He hurt my wife. He didn't send that text. He let Rick speak for him. That's the same thing. She said I was throwing my family away. I told her I was done letting them treat my marriage like a plus one they could uninvite. Hannah and Jonah are my family. Anyone who doesn't respect that doesn't get access to me. On Dad's 71st, we had dinner at home, just us. 1 candle on a crooked cake, our way. I used to think blood meant loyalty. Now I know better. Access to me is not a family right.